an emphatic victory by the Springboks. But what is the purpose of that victory? Does it mean anything in the bigger scale of things with Ireland coming up and looking at how they haven't changed their squad, even when they're playing the so-called minnows? So we'll get into that. The Formula One. When last did we see a Formula One that was as competitive as what yesterday was? And to have Lewis take podium as well? Amazing. I love that. Will he ever get that eighth? I don't know. As it seems now, I don't think so. I think we just need to enjoy what he's done. Verstappen not getting on the podium, that was quite something as well, isn't it? It's been a very long time after the 9 straight ones. We do have football news. Mazolo Molefe is here. We do have refereeing decisions. Kaizer Chiefs player finished the game. He was never supposed to finish the game. Royal AM should have been advantaged in that game. All of that coming up. Let's get into it. It's the weekend that was 13 after the R6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's Sports that Amplified with Andile, Ncube. Victor is here. We call him the principal, former PSL and CAF referee. Joins us every single Monday to look at decisions from the weekend that was. Rather, Vic, a couple of things that you've got there. Just top of the line. What are you going to be talking about?
He's got his IFM book here. He's got his IFM book.
Unomuntu lana bekanga fanelanga qeda match.
A Chiefs, ne?
A Chiefs player.
Yeah, Chiefs player. Yeah. We all know who it is, but we'll let you have that one. Mazolo, what do you have going on?
A lot. The transfer window shuts down on Friday, and
This coming Friday,
and my phone is just buzzing non-stop.
Normally in the PSL, we don't expect late things. We don't expect there to be business towards the end. It's normally quite slow. That last day is normally a wet drab, really, not even worth going to the PSL offices for. Do you feel different this year?
I'm still not going to the PSL offices after what happened the last window. Where deals,
there was one transfer, wasn't there?
I mean, there were several. Some of them, we were there, sitting there, waiting, but we're not being given information, only to see clubs releasing statements. Meanwhile, we're sitting there waiting for information. So how are the transactions being done, you know? So I've decided I'm no longer going there again. I'll just get the information on my phone.
Transfer news then is what we're talking about. Transfer news. Your team has got about... I don't know what it is in hours, but 5 days in order to be able to sign or, strengthen their teams. We spoke on Friday at length with the Podcast Friday guys as to what is needed in several teams. What do you make of what's ongoing at the moment? 15 after the hour 6, let's get straight into the weekend that was and see what it is that you were watching and what you're going to talk about. Starting with the Springboks beating Romania, a team that Peter de Villiers said was not worthy opponents. Peter, speaking on our broadcast with the SABC as we gave you that match live alongside with many more, myself and Udo bringing you the Rugby World Cup. He says, no man, listen, that match, Romania, was not the match that the Springboks needed to get ready for an island. The number 1 team in the world at the moment. Remember, Romania, they've had a hard pool. They played the number 1 nation in their first match, who scored over 80, who put over 80 points on the board. Then South Africa can put over 70. They don't even get a point on this one. But in case you missed it, here it is.
Good opportunity by the South Africans. Makasane Mapipi inside the goal over.
Is Reinach deur 'n gaping. Reinach wat reguit maak. Reinach wat deur is. Hy gaan onder die paal oorteken en hy gaan sy
Willems gets the gap and it goes over. Try number 4.
Mapimpi en dan is daar 'n gaping vir Willemse. Hy trap af binne toe, buite toe en hy hardloop deur. Hy gaan net links van die linker reg op paal oorduik.
Now South Africa, it is Grant Williams. He just pierced the whole field.
En nou van de Klerk, hy gee binne toe terug na Williams en hy gaan deur.
Now to the left wing, Makasole Mapimpi. Mapimpi is going. Velileru is behind him. He doesn't need him. Makasole Mapimpi. Try number 24.
Hier kom moeilikheid. Velileru op die kwartlyn. Geef hom Mapimpi. Hier kom sy derde 3. Mapimpi, hy's deur vir sy derde 3 uitsteke. 3-3 vir hom vandag en ook 3-3 aan Kobus Reinach en die 3 word ingeryk Suid-Afrika.
Hi, Timmy. I want this Afrikaans commentary even for football. Inner two, beter two, Mapimpi. No, I loved it. As much as I love seeing Mapimpi score a hat-trick, getting his confidence back, the Sharks man there, was great to see him putting 3 there. He's already on 3 at the moment. He scored 6 in the last World Cup, so he's halfway in his first starts there. Great to see Mapimpi doing well. In other matches, yesterday, you saw England beating Japan by 34-12 was the final result. Australia beaten by Fiji 22-15. It was, for me, the best match of the weekend. Of course, South Africa beating Romania by 76 points to 0. There is going to be matches starting on Wednesday again, Italy, Uruguay, and then Thursday the holders, France, what we're expecting to be another big score against Namibia before Samoa and Argentina on a Friday. Saturday again is going to be Georgia and Portugal before England take on Chile, and you can catch the Springboks again on Saturday when they take on Ireland, the biggest match of the Rugby World Cup thus far. It's going to be that South Africa versus Ireland match there. Now let's move on to football. Coaches' reactions after the matches of the weekend. Mthethwa's reaction to the draw against Royal AM.
In terms of the application, we did well. But it is not only about the application. What is important is the product. And playing a game like this, we were looking forward to win this game, to score goals. What we have been working on, we could see coming out. But the biggest challenge we had today was not converting the chances we created.
I mean, they did come close, didn't they? Hitting the crossbar did Kaizer Chiefs. Didn't convert those chances. But up front, the new man, Gonzalez, starting his first game. What did Ncube make of his new striker?
Firstly, he's a quality player. That is why the club brought him to play for the club. He's our point of reference. Whether it's set plays, whether it's combination play that we are deploying on the day, he's that player. Because when we started the season, Ranga was injured, so we did not have any number 9 that can always be that reference point. But I think for the past 2 weeks working with him, it's work in progress for him because he still has to understand the league, he still has to understand the opponents in terms of applying himself properly. But I think he had a very good game today. It is just unfortunate for him not to have scored.
On Soccer Zone this evening, we're going to put a little bit of a spotlight to Gonzalez because the big question goes in and around, when is it too soon to judge a player? Yeah. And it's different in every team. You can scream till the top of their lungs, but it's different. For Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, it's different than a Royal AM or maybe as Kukune. Because the Chiefs and the Pirates are expected to hit the ground running. They're the sort of team who are big enough that you don't have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games to acclimatize.
Hit the ground running like Caleb did.
Like Caleb did, okay. Thanks, Mazola. Eric Tinkler, not going well at the moment for Cape Town teams. Eric Tinkler has not been spared from that as well. Here he is speaking about how disappointed he is to have lost.
Disappointing. You can't lose a game the way you lose a game like that. That for me is unacceptable, But I'm not going to sit here and talk tactics. There's no point in that, Mistakes cost you, and they cost you 3 points, So you got to learn from your mistakes, but you got to understand the level that you're playing at. There's no easy games in this league. Every single game is hard. Every single game is a fight. And you got to fight for those 3 points for 90 minutes.
Sitting on 6 points at the moment after 6 games, an average of a point a game is Cape Town City at the moment. Not great for a team that always, shows up. There's so much expected of them. Losing 3-2 to Amazulu. 2 late goals is what sunk them after that Mayo goal, which was just so great. It was good to see it. It was a great goal. It was a goal expected of a striker of his potential, but also just to see him get his confidence back. On the other side, though, you've got Pablo Martin, who agrees that they were much better than his team.
Very far from the level I want. They were better than us. This is the reality. I'm winning the game, but I'm honest. Same as some other days one day we lost and some other days we drew, and I think we could have deserved more. Today I think that they deserve more. And with this, I don't mean that our players deserve to win as well because they fought till the end and they took their chances, but I think they are a better team than us right now.
Let's move on now to Botswana, where Orlando Pirates went there to get 3 points. Many thought it was a done deal, but it's South African coach Morana Ramoribodi who stopped Buccaneers, collected 3 points and brought them back home to face the second leg on 0. Here's his reaction after the match.
We had so many chances, I think, both first and second half. Unfortunately, I don't think we're really clinical in front of the post. Secondly, I think they were giving us a bit of a problem in terms of connecting in that half space with both Dlamini and Kapinga, and we had to try and dig deep in terms of trying to balance the areas where they wanted to play. I think also dealing with Woto and Munyani, but I think we managed to handle all the challenges they were posing with us. And look, congratulations to the team.
Well, congratulations to the team indeed. It's 22 after the hour 6. Orlando Pirates going to Botswana and losing?
Yeah, I mean, Morena knows South African football in and out. Just recently, he was the COSAFA Cup head coach. He had fired a warning that, they shouldn't expect a walkover. But 1-0, still, Pirates.
Still game to play.
Still game to play in Orlando in about 2 weeks' time. It will be interesting, but obviously Joaneng will come here and maybe even pack the bus. Although I know Coach Morena not to be the
type of coach that plays
like
Well, let's hear from Orlando Pirates coach Jose Ribeiro.
We look at the schedule knowing that we must play from Sunday to Sunday 3 very important games for us, 3 different competitions. Our concern, that's all, and we want to be prepared for the 3 ones and as good as possible, but again, don't talk about rotations because it's not a rotation. Yesterday we didn't get the result that we were looking for, obviously, but it's only the first half of the game.
Yeah, the conversation on rotation and what rotation is probably a different...
Yeah.
I just think we, as South Africans, because of what we've seen with teams that go into CAF competitions, we probably understand rotation different. Because remember as well, what you have here in South Africa is you have coaches that play different teams in cup games. There'd be, I remember there'd be goalkeepers that play the cup games and a goalkeeper that plays, the league
like
games.
Like Washington Arubi with Ricardo Goss at the moment. For
that sort of thing, so perhaps we just understand rotation different to what the coach is saying, and that's okay as well.
Yeah.
It's just words. We can use whatever words to describe whatever's happening. But the coach there, losing that match. A lot of people on Twitter today were saying, why is this coach not being recognized? People aren't even talking to him. People aren't even seeing him. Ramuribodi is a coach. I mean, he went and beat Pirates. And
Morena.
Guys, we speak to Morena.
Guys.
We've given Morena a platform. We've spoken to Morena. Morena won the COSAFA with Bafana.
We were with Morena every day for 2 weeks at COSAFA.
Morena's been on the show so many times. In fact, the last time Morena was on this show was a couple of weeks ago. Just before the season started in Botswana.
I think it's because he was playing a big South African
team. That then people are like, hey, he beat a big South African team.
Exactly.
And I asked him.
He's been doing it.
Mazola, I asked him. I said, hey, are you getting calls? This is after he's won the COSAFA with Bafana. Yeah. This is after his heroics in Botswana. I said to him, is the phone ringing with South African owners wanting you to come down?
And he very nearly came home. He very nearly went to Swallows before Coach Steve Khompela actually was appointed as the head coach.
So what went wrong?
I mean, obviously, Steve Khompela then went and Joaneng offered Coach Morena a new contract, but there was something cooking there.
Yeah, and of course, when I'm hearing Sundowns are paying half of Steve's money, I completely understand. But this is the coach. This is the coach when we did speak to him here when he was on the show. Because like I said, we do cover it, and we do, you might have just missed it perhaps. This is Morena Ramuribodi rather, when he was here speaking about the PSL. Is there a bug that says, South Africa, somebody see me? Do you think that you're being overlooked? Do you feel overlooked, though, Morena?
I believe in waiting for God's time. If it has to happen, it will happen. I love football so much that if you take me now and say, go coach a 3rd division team in South Africa, wherever, I'll still give the same effort that I'm giving here in Botswana.
Coach, come on. We've got every single club owner, coach in this country is listening to this show. And I want to know from you, do you want to come home? Do you want to get a chance in the PSL? Do you think that's something that you could come on and be impactful? I do. Do you?
I am ready, and I'm ready to come back home and serve the country and serve football in South Africa.
Well, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's the coach. We just take a break. When we come back, we get into the 3 wise men here. They give us, that was my bit. So nanek content. Let's see what they've got to do. I'll hand over to them. To see what they bring us. Let's take a break. 30 after the hour 6. Let's get into it. The weekend that was. I can't wait to be taking your calls and voice notes on all things this past weekend. Give us a call on 086 000 2160. Is it the F1, the rugby, the PSL? Is it the Premier League with Manchester United continuing to embarrass me? We can get into that as well. It's all good. We can go. The Barcelona, though, that young team, Chelsea, that young team looking to be doing great things as well. So we can get into that. But firstly, is yawning there because he's like, Andile, give me some action. You're on TV. People are watching there, Chief. People are watching.
Ana content. That's why I robala.
Talk to me. What do you have?
Oh, you start with me or Mazol?
No, I want start that way now because you have 5 minutes.
Oh, all right. Thank you. I have 3 things today.
Go for it.
Let's start with the first one. The first one, we go to Chiefs and Royal AM. First minute, Gonzalez did something with his tackle. First minute, he got nothing. So we're going to show you tonight at Soccer Zone what the tackle was and then what card the player could have received.
That's a career ending.
We'll digest it more when we show you. You will watch it once, you won't watch it for the second time.
No, we can't show it more than once.
Yeah, so
it's one of those where before we show it, we need to tell viewers we're about to show you
sensitive
this.
viewers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, well, so catch that on Soccer Zone. Trust me, I'm not even going to look at it again.
The second one, we're talking of advantage. It happened on the game between Moroka Swallows and Richards Bay.
Okay,
this is what happened. The player is passed to the ball is passed to a player coming from Swaziland. You know, someone who comes from Swaziland is called Swati. Yeah. The ball was passed to a Swati player who then...
Tell us the name of the player.
Yeah, hey, he said...
Justice Figueiredo.
Figueiredo, yeah. Figueiredo. Yeah. So, when the ball was passed to Justice, Justice was in an offside position. And then the player who passed, the Swati was in an offside position. But the player who passed was then tripped. Flag came out for offside. What then does the referee do? The referee penalize the offense. So we'll tell you more about as to what then happens. But here we can clarify that as long as the referee did not blow the whistle, if the tackle is reckless or stopping a promising attack, he can now bring it back.
Yeah.
So that's what he did, which was good. But some were questioning, but no, the player was offside, so offside came first before the kick. Now, the kick is also very important.
Punish the
Okay,
offense.
once again, another visual one. So Soccer Zone this evening, so you're able to see that. What's your last
one? The last one, it's last week I confused you because you did not understand. I said, if you can't get it, forget about it. But today I'm going to bring it back to say, we're talking dangerous play. It says, the law says, playing in a dangerous manner is any action that while trying to play the ball threatens injury to someone, including the player themselves. So in the game between Amazulu and Cape Town City, it happened where Dion headed the ball which was at knee level. At knee level, ufakela in Nkokola. Bam shy. The referee gave a goal kick. He got the ball, but Bam shy. So that player is playing danger against himself. So if it was me or the referee, you could not give that player a free kick because he's playing the ball at knee level. You can't put your head there. So that is dangerous play. That he's playing danger against himself. But we'll show you nicely at Soccer Zone.
So if he plays danger against himself, he doesn't get anything. Nobody gets anything. He just gets the risk.
Should have been given against him, but the referee decided to give...
But no card.
No card. The referee decided to give a goal kick. But what was nice is, at knee level, you put a head there. Do you know what chance, man?
There it is, the principle. If you want a lot more of this and to see it visually, especially the first 2 points that the principal spoke of there, he's a man of integrity. He's a man that ran the PSL field up and down. At some point, he was, what year was it when you were a PSL referee?
2012.
2012.
That's when I went to Gabon to do Brazilian Gabon and got the name principal.
There you go, the principal. Catch him this evening on Soccer Zone as he shows you everything which we've spoken about visually with the visual aids that we are able to show you there. Hopefully, not too many are going to be able to see that that horrific accident. I mean, that could have been a career ending. Somebody could be in hospital right now thinking about what else to do. Giloba Miza somewhere, Giloba Loyara, because soccer career is over. Mazol, people are waiting for you.
Yeah. Just before I get to the stories, story say one. A good friend of the show just reminded me also that Coach Morena Murebudi is repeating himself. Hammered Pirates in the Nedbank Cup many moons ago. I think Tembinkosi Lodge was actually still playing for Maluti.
Oh, Maluti, IFT,
yeah. So,
oh, yes.
It's
actually,
a repeat
that's who was the coach then.
Yes.
For, just to give perspective.
Yes, he was coaching Maluti at the time when they knocked Pirates out of the cup.
Maluti.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what FET is, Vic. That's what FET is. It's a college. Please switch off his mic. Switch off his mic.
No. Let's first go to Naturena. A lot happening at Naturena. Even last week, Podcast Friday, you were talking about this player, Mthethwa, Ox, Nyambose. I reached out to Stellies, and finally the CEO, Rob Bernardi, did respond to my request just to give clarity on what's happening with Ox's situation. He says there has been interest from several clubs in the DStv Premiership, including Kaizer Chiefs, who formally put in a bid. Didn't reveal the numbers. No, I didn't ask him for the number, Andile.
You're letting us down, Chief. Okay, so they put in an offer.
Yeah, they put in an offer, but there has been obviously reports or a rumor mill, whatever you want to call it, that it's 15 million. I don't believe
1.5.
1.5. I don't believe that to be a true accurate reflection of the valuation of Unyambose. But the player is going to run out of contract next season. I believe there are talks between Stellies and the player for an extension, but the player...
Are they trying to keep him?
They're trying to keep... That's what Rob says. Rob says it's a player that we want to retain. Even coach Steve Barker did allude to that after their goalless draw against... who were they playing? Golden Arrows out in KZN. And he was disappointed a little bit by Coach Mulifin Tseki's comments about the player.
Bringing up the player because it destabilizes his camp.
I think we do have an audio clip of Coach Steve Barker.
Yeah, look, as a coach, I wouldn't do that. I've got a desire to have many players from the other club. But, at the end of the day, if we as Stellenbosch want a footballer from another team, we get our management, our CEO and that to engage formally with them, and that's the way we do it. So it is a bit frustrating when it goes out in the media because obviously, the player is a Stellenbosch player and, that's not for me the right way to go about it.
I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence because as a journalist...
From a news point of view, I can understand.
As a journalist who's always being hammered for, quoting sources and whatever, when a coach actually comes out to say, yes, we are interested in the player, but we'll see if we get him, that's refreshing for me. But Steve Barker says, no, it's unprofessional and unnecessary. There are other ways to go about communicating interest.
So the Chiefs and Stellenbosch have 5 days to, make, because if he doesn't sign an extension, it might cost them to keep him.
Correct.
So if he doesn't want to sign an extension, then they need to sell him in the next 5 days.
Obviously, there will be a January transfer window. He could still go in January for Stellies to make sure that they don't lose a player for free. Speaking of players that have been lost for free, Luke Fleurs. Remember, Kaizer Chiefs were interested in Luke Fleurs earlier in January, but, the two teams couldn't agree a figure or whatever the case may be, and Luke ended up signing a new 3.5-year contract. Well, we broke the story this morning. Luke has left SuperSport United. I actually have an interview that I did earlier this afternoon with Coach Gavin Hunt, and I'm sure you'll be able to play it on your show in the build-up to their game against Kaizer Chiefs. But Luke is now being assessed by Kaizer Chiefs. 6 months or 6 or 7 months after they signed TTD Tlokwe instead on a free transfer, so they have an opportunity to maybe even sign Luke on a free transfer because he's become a player that's
Luke
available.
Fleurs to Kaizer Chiefs.
To Kaizer Chiefs, possibly. He arrived at Kaizer Chiefs Naturena base this morning to be assessed, trial, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if Coach Ntseki did say last week that he is looking for like Nadim said, defender, midfielder, and maybe possibly a striker if he's not a foreign striker, because I think they've exhausted
their foreign
quota over there. And then there's still other player movements. Ben Mthethwa has left Orlando Pirates. He's gone to Amazulu. Brilliant signing, in my opinion, with that partnership with George Maluleka, potentially what he could do. And President Sandile Zungu also says this is a player we would look to maybe keep at the end of the season because we've signed him on a short-term deal until the end of the season over there. And then, do you want to say something? Or should
I just want to... And it came up on Friday as well, on Podcast Fridays. Nda at Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
What is going on there?
Well, that's interesting because Soka Laduma published a story last week saying Nda's frustrated and he's pushing for a move before the window closes.
Surely one of the best central defenders in the country right now.
The agent went to town with that story to deny it, to say there's no such thing. It's not the truth because the player is,
happy to be at Pirates.
He's happy to be at Pirates. Yeah. He's just been recovering from an injury. But the reality is we've not seen Oli Sanda. So... which one is which, but obviously the agent has come out to say no, he's staying. Let's see what happens until Friday. If the player leaves, then we know that the agent's not make sure.
All right, Sabon.
Two more stories. These have also got audio clips. Timmy, where should we go first? Mam Kize has asked Tim Sukazi.
I wonder. This will be interesting. If you're on Instagram, you're probably like me. Like, is she still in South Africa?
Mam Kize has asked Tim Sukazi to help him with the FIFA ban. I don't know if it's because Tim has signed Nukovic.
Yeah?
Yes. My colleague Velile Mnyandu was out covering the Hollywood Bets matches over the weekend, and obviously the two teams play against each other and that. And he had an opportunity to speak to Mthethwa about the FIFA bet. We know they owe Ncube 12 million, and currently they can't sign any player. This is what Mthethwa had to say.
I think every team wants to do something in January. We've started with this team, we must make it work. We would love to do something in January. We're hoping this matter will be resolved before the window closes. But if it doesn't, it's okay. We'll look into January. We are working on the matter. I was speaking to the chair lady of TX Galaxy when I was sitting there. I'm saying, let's do this. I love what they're doing. Look at their brand. And I'm saying, we even talked, by the way, about Ncube. We said, let's see how we can solve this thing for the spirit of the soccer. Because at the end of the day, whatever happened, must be within the spirit of the soccer. We fight for 90 minutes. After that, we're friends.
For the spirit of the soccer. I say for the spirit of the soccer, pay Ncube, have the FIFA ban lifted, and sign players for Coach John Maduka.
I don't see
it's as simple as
Ncube accepting anything less than 12 million.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't see it.
Nah, I don't see it.
Even if Tim comes in, maybe they could agree some sort of term payment in terms of, instead of a lump sum payment, we can speak of. But I don't see him saying, okay, let's negotiate down.
No, I don't see it happening. This guy wants his money.
An exclusive that of SABC Sport. Mthethwa there speaking to Velile Mnyandu, journalist. He's going to be on Soccer Zone this evening with more exclusives such as that one there. Mthethwa saying, you know what, she wants to resolve the matter with Ncube. If she can't sign players by Friday, she'll wait till the January transfer window, but realizes that she definitely needs to sign and that the Ncube matter is one that needs to be dealt with.
No, absolutely.
Great story, that. Great story. That. Vic, it's Mazola 1, you 0. He wins today. He wins today. Mazola, you got one more.
We've got one more, Timmy. Sundowns, Coach Rulani Mokoena talking about the big week.
It is a big week for Sundowns.
It's a massive week for Sundowns. They play Orlando Pirates on Wednesday in a league match, and then they play Kaizer Chiefs. They host Kaizer Chiefs at Lucas Moripe Stadium, a game that's live on SABC 1 and all our platforms. And
this Wednesday, Sundowns Pirates is going to be live on SABC 1. You can catch that game.
That and then also on Saturday as well, they host Kaizer Chiefs in the second leg.
And you can catch that one as well.
You can catch that.
Wednesday, is it I think it's live on Wednesday as well. Yeah, I think that game is live. I know we are definitely showing that game. I'll give you more details on it. But you can watch Sundowns versus Pirates on SABC. And on the weekend, you can catch Chiefs Sundowns again.
And then that's Coach Rulani Mokoena talking about that massive week for the Brazilians.
This week is a very, very good test for us, where we anticipate that as we get on with the season, we will get into a space where we have to play semi-finals, quarterfinals, finals, league title deciders in the same week, and matches that are of consequence in the business end of the season.
He likens this to, the big Champions League fixtures in Europe as well, to say, hence to his point again, that this is why it's such a huge task and challenge for Sundowns this week.
And you've seen this with some of the biggest teams in Europe. You've seen how a Man City has had to play a championship decider while also having to prepare for a semi-final against Real Madrid, or preparing for the final against Inter Milan. This is the space that the big teams with the big players and the top players have a challenge with, and it is a challenge that they accept.
Yep, that's it from me. Andile, 1 Mazola, 0 Principal.
No, Timmy, show of hands. Malcolm, the cameras, the lights, camera, crew action. Who's voting for Mazola? Yeah, no, Mazola. It's a whitewash. Tavik, with your long story. No, we didn't quite hear you.
Mazola. Amazon bankile 3 points when they failed to pay that player. Won't they take 3 points again from this?
From Royal AM.
Yes.
Eventually it will get to that. What I understand is that every 12 months that Mthethwa doesn't pay that money, there's 18% interest that's added onto the debt. So eventually, obviously, Royal AM, FIFA rather, do not have the jurisdiction to liquidate or whatever.
That's that's about 1.6 million. My maths, I'm doing this top of my head, but that's about 1.6 million.
Yeah. So 18% per 12 months they fail to pay. Eventually, at some point, maybe FIFA will start docking them points so that they, relegate them.
Oh, 18%, not 12.
No, 18%. If they every 12 months that they do not pay. It's my understanding is that if
that's just over 2 million.
Yeah. So the ruling came out sometime in May. So yeah.
By November, every 6 months, right?
Every 12 months.
Every 12 months. So next year we'll be sitting at, now we're talking about not 12 but 14 million.
Yeah. So it keeps going up, and then eventually they'll dock points and get them to be relegated and be liquidated, and
etc. etc. It's 18:46. Let's take a break. When we come back, we hand over to you. There's a lot to talk about. Everything that you've just heard from Mazola, everything you heard from the other wise men in the principal, but also the weekend that was, the Formula One. Malcolm is here. He wants to hear you speak about the Formula One, the rugby. We can get into the Premier League football, isn't it? A great weekend of Premier League football. If you don't support Chelsea or Man United, we can go into the Premier League as well. Let's take a break. When we come back, taking your calls on 086 0002160, starting with your WhatsApps on 060 552 7303.
Dumelang ka mo studio, hashtag the weekend that was. I just want to congratulate Springboks and the Proteas. And as Mkhonza will say, as for Kaizer Chiefs nje, bekamnandanga nje le weekend angazi, but sobona nje Wednesday against Supersport ukuthi kwenzakalani, and all the best to uMahlatsi, and yeah, thank you Gomi.
Oh, you actually helped us out, Gomi. Thank you so much for that one. We'd forgotten about the Proteas. The national duty, the Proteas beating Australia. They had to come back in that series to win it, but it was a great one nonetheless. Thank you so much for coming, for reminding us of that one.
Three wise men.
Hey.
Ala. No Mazola. Ngumene nibonga iSpringboks bafethu nilungisele iweekend yenu. Otherwise, the big problem with Man United and Chelsea fans is the fans are more serious than the players. The fans are the ones that are more serious than their players. Your teams, guys. Man United and Chelsea. No, Timang bafethu.
Next. Evening, guys. Evening, Andile.
Hey, man.
The weekend that it was.
It was.
But when I was okay, I told you weekend it was. I will Manchester. I mean, Andile Manchester. How you want to go? Once you figure out now, Abuye. Otherwise, we will say we coach every now and then, every season.
Yeah, you guys said Ronaldo was the problem.
We are still doing well for now. We are not canaring. You're not you. Hola, Andile. Great show. From Naledi.
Yeah, no, they're full of me today. I mean, let me tell you about the Romania team.
But it's a great show.
No. It's talking about my team. I get it. Let me give you a little bit of history against Romania. So Romanian rugby comes from France. So back in the day, in the early 20s, Romanian students would go to France to go to school there. And they learned the game there. They started bringing the balls back to Romania. And that's how the game grew there. It was based on a model of France. But physically, they're not the kind of players that look like French players. And then their league is not as professional. And so early on in the days, you had a lot of players that would play in France. And the top 14 in France is one of the best leagues, if not the best league in the world right now. So they'd grow from there. We played them here in South Africa in 95, in fact. We beat them on our way. The score back then, I think it was in Newlands. I think it was a 27-8.
It wasn't 76.
No, it was 27-8. So it tells you how that team, Romania, has digressed over the years to where they are now. They've got an amazing coach who's the best coach in Romania, but he only took over in 2022 in December. So there is a lot to be done there. They missed the World Cup in 2019, their first World Cup that they missed, which means now they're starting all over. Every single player you see here is playing rugby at the World Cup for the first time. So there is a lot going against them. Hey.
We giant youth like this thing of Kaizer Chiefs coach always talking about application was good. How can the application be good if it does not yield positive results? I'm tired of this.
I can hear you're tired.
And I think they must have
his voice
you're tired.
Man, who can change things on the pitch. Okay,
I'm sorry, boy. I'm sorry. Play one more. Let's take the calls. Play one more. Yo.
Andile. Mazola. Can't ta vigu gaina. Bona nam failing to understand the horrible bila go Chiefs hirala. What is sometimes the coach hala dira mmereko wa tsona. The player the failure the coach hara.
I don't know what's going on. It's big up to the Springbok, big up to the Springbok. Jimmy Maga the busy of Motsebe. Dango.
Thank you, Jimmy. I mean, we got to get to that to say, where do you draw the line on is it the coach or is it the players? But nonetheless, we'll get to that. Let's go now. Jimmy, that thing you put it far again. You know me and my eyes. Spongalen is out there and my Tafeni regular here on a Monday. Spongalen.
Thank you.
Gion.
Springboks. I think it was a brave performance from the boys. After those injuries they have, going to that game, young weekend, but they put in a great performance, and I'm very proud of them. I'm willing to see them making it to the final. It won't be easy, but it looks like they can defend their title. And then coming to Amazulu, Ikinezolo. I think it was a hard-fought win. I never been so emotional in the game. I had the chat with Upro Pilan before the game. He told me what are the plans of the team, and then we spoke about if the team win that game yesterday, they'll be in good position, and it looked like we have lost 3 points toward the end of the game, but what a fought from the boys.
What a
I was
fought.
very proud.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, congratulations to Pro Pilano on his first game, getting the 3 points there. Congrats, Prof.
It's a pro effect.
Yeah, it's a pro effect. We appreciate you. Let's go to Olisa Makwalisa. He's out in Joburg, wants to speak about the Springboks and Chiefs as well. Olisa, I'm going to give you one of those. Which one are you going with? Go for it.
A great show by both.
Remember, we're speaking full rugby tomorrow for an entire hour.
I'll be glued, bro.
So talk to me about Chiefs. You'll catch up with me with the Springboks tomorrow.
No problem. I was impressed by how we played against in the previous game, because if you check how we played previously, we were very poor. I could see how we called the ball and kept it to ourselves, which was impressive. And I would like us to continue doing that, because once we protect the ball, we've got a chance of winning a match. But if we keep on losing balls so cheaply, then we stand a chance of losing those matches. I think we were unlucky not to have scored at least one goal, because we were denied by a crossbar 2 times, if I'm not mistaken.
2 times, yeah?
Yes. The cross that came to
Gonzalez.
Not Gonzalez, the other boy from Cape Town.
Dupree.
Yeah, I think he rushed that ball.
Open foot, yeah.
Should have scored.
Yes, he could have just placed it to the far side, because he was like that.
No, I should have scored that.
But I'm not blaming him.
But I mean, there's an earlier one as well where he brings it into Gonzalez, and it goes right past him. That could have been perhaps a goal. But
exactly, Ma. If we keep on creating chances, we're gonna come right, Ma. As long as we take shots on targets, then we're gonna come right.
Well, I mean, shots on target, you heard what Opta had to say about Chiefs and shots on target. Even in yesterday's match, when you look at the shots on target versus the shots overall, Chiefs still not doing as well as one would think. And they're still not doing what the numbers that Arthur was doing last season either. Let's go to Tepo Masela. He's out in Polokwane. Wants to speak about Ribeiro and the red card for Chiefs. Choose one, Tepo.
Brahma, let me choose one. Let me choose Ribeiro.
Go for it.
Look, I'm a Orlando Pirates fan, but I'm really concerned because this is not for the first time. Every time Ribeiro is asked about rotation, he doesn't only resist it, but he comes out too defensive because mostly things wouldn't have gone right according to him. He would have dropped some points, and it appears to him that the journalists are trying to attack him for losing or dropping points. But there is nothing wrong with rotation, especially when you look at the fixture that he has this week. He's got 2 important games that are coming. He's got to prepare. He's got enough squad. So I think Ribeiro just he must just avoid trying to be misquoted by the journalists. I don't know.
No, can I come to the coach's defense there? I think he's probably just getting irritated by the question, because he's made it clear over and over. He's been here for a year now. He's made it clear that he does not believe what he does is not rotation. He believes it's just spreading the load and.
Hey, Tepo, man, the last time Mazola and I spoke about this, I think we trained it for 2 days.
Yeah.
So.
But Mazola, but Andile said that our interpretation was big different. But
yes,
if you're going to replace 2 players that are not injured for another player
it's rotation.
For the same position, that is a rotation. rotation. I
Yes.
mean, we can all different things, but that is a rotation. It does not matter whether it comes from Spain or South Africa.
Tapo, goodbye. Tapo, goodbye.
Hey, re tlo trenda hape Tshepo.
Zola. You've got Chiefs and Springboks all the way in Cape Town. Which one are you going with? You can only have one. Springboks, we're talking rugby tomorrow. So talk to me about Chiefs, man.
No, I was just going to say something about Springbok. That's a big mix. Springbok, I remember you said every game of Springbok was going to be on SABC2. Yesterday, I changed the game from... and then I checked on SABC2 around when the game was starting. The game was not playing on SABC2.
You know, you're not the first person to say this. Where in Cape Town are you?
Yeah, I'm in Goodwood. Actually, the second thing about Kaizer Chiefs is playing a boring game. I remember the game, those games we used to watch about for Scapi Malati, FedEx, Jabu Pule.
Yeah, those are the days, yeah.
And then Knowledge Musona. Chiefs one was unstoppable at that moment. We never even got the middle fielders that keep the ball like Jabu Pule and Scapi Malati instead of FedEx used to do.
Hey, Zola. I appreciate you. Zola Shasha. Lutomile ka di Springbok jampela go Chiefs. For myself and the three wise men, we take this now to television.
You and Victor, you mean?
Well, me and Victor kapile mazola go TV. So Pafi. You can catch us on Soccer Zone this evening, and the game will be on SABC on Wednesday. Sundowns versus Orlando Pirates, and of course on the weekend against Kaizer Chiefs as well. For myself and my entire team, Etini, Olapara, man, to the lights, camera, action crew as well. Pela. And so.